Welcome to the webinar. So we're going to be talking tonight about application strategies. In particular, we're going to talk about program building, geographic and setting preferences, and program signaling. Just so you know, like, are you in the right place? You're in the right place if that's what you need. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we'll get going. Okay, we'll get going. So my name is Simone Brown, and I am a cross-cultural communications mentor for IMGs. I've been working with IMGs since 2019. I have a master's in education. I'm a certified pronunciation coach and a bird nerd. So in New York, I'm going to have my binoculars. Hopefully that's okay. And I'm going to look at what, I don't even care. A pigeon doesn't matter to me. I love them all. So I'm going to be looking at birds when I'm in New York because I've never been there. I started working with IMGs in 2019 when Doctors Vien and Tam came to me. He wanted to work on his English for his Step 2 CS. Remember that test? Maybe you don't. You guys are kind of new to the game, maybe. But that was prior to the OET. And he came to me for help on the English portion. I didn't know anything about IMG, Step 2. I mean, honestly, I knew nothing. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about what you guys go through at all. Nothing. So he kind of taught me, and I taught him, he taught me, and I was fascinated, really. And I have been working exclusively with IMGs ever since. Since 2019, I've personally mentored over 100 matched IMGs from all countries, from everywhere. I've got a few of them listed here. Anjumar, she gave me some nice kudos there. Matched to Jefferson Einstein. We've got BJ. Yeah, he's in his second year. No, I think he's in his third year now. Living the dream. Floor, dreams come true. I mean, I love that. I love helping IMGs achieve their goals. I always think I'm coming in at the very last minute, but I love helping. And then Carla is amazing. There was only 6 non-US IMGs matched to plastic surgery in 2021, and she was one of them. So I love sharing that. I am a proud supporter of Project IMG. I have been supporting Sebastian since almost the beginning. I saw the article about the original purpose of Project IMG and the original IMG event. And I contacted him and I said, oh, I've got to do whatever I can for this group. And so proud supporter, that's me in Miami. And that's me. We had an IMG meet up here in Houston area. Was anyone there? Did anyone go to that? Let me see. Let me open the chat. So that was really fun. You think I'm surrounded by just beautiful, beautiful doctors. That's amazing. So you guys, I need some yeses. Are you ready? Are you ready to give me some yeses? I'm going to try to do the slideshow here. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do presenter mode. Let's see if I can figure it out. All right. So I think this works. That's what I need to do. Okay. So I need some yeses. Wait, you're saying yes. You don't know what? You don't know what you're saying yes to. Be careful. Okay, 3 things. First of all, we're about to get into the meat of this webinar, but before we do, I want you to know that I'm going to be telling you about an offer, the IMG Application PowerPack, but there's no hard sell. Okay, I do this because I really enjoy working with IMGs, and yes, I do charge for services, so I have to let you know what they are, but it's okay. There's no pressure, really. I'm just glad you're here. So don't just listen to this webinar passively. Don't do it. Take some notes, participate, ask questions. Otherwise, you'll be wasting an opportunity, really. So you can start your program list this weekend if you haven't already. Has anyone started their program list yet? Have you started? You can start this weekend. You'll be ready. So get started and do a little bit each week. So that's what I'm trying to get you to commit to. So for example, if you're going to apply to 50 programs, then just divide it into 10, like 10 per week, 2 per day, like that. You can do it like that. Do the division and make a plan. Implement what you learned tonight, and don't worry about this part of the process anymore. You agree? So type "I'm committed" in the chat if you are committed to starting your list this weekend. Are you committed? At least starting. I'm going to give you the tools. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Good. Yet not yet. I am committed. I've got one commitment. Thank you. Oh, I got more. I got more. Good, good, good. Okay, so I'd like you to stay until you get those cool bonuses, those show up bonuses. That's going to be, I'll show you. I had to adjust the timing a little bit. Ready. Good, good, good. I guess if we're applying broadly, there's not much we can do. This is just for you, Kagla. It's for you. So you're going to see how you can definitely apply broadly, but smart. Okay, we got to be smart still. All right, so I hope that you'll stay at least until you can get your show up bonuses. And finally, I want you to know that I am going to be telling you about the IMG PowerPack. That's what my offer is tonight, but there's no hard sell, just so you know. Okay, so I'm trying to learn how to do this one. All right, next one. All right, I got it. So here's the overview for tonight. So first, we're going to start with the number one most common pitfall IMGs make when applying. And I hate to say this, but just throwing it and saying, oh, I'm just applying broadly, that might be a mistake, but we'll talk about it. I'm going to share you some success stories from your seniors. You need to know those success stories. Step one, choosing good fit programs. Even if you're applying broadly, I'm going to show you how to do that smart. I'm going to tell you about the Application PowerPack after that one. Then you get your show up bonus. And then if you can stay, I'm going to also talk about step two, hometowns, geographic and setting preferences, and also step three, program signaling, especially like gold and silver for IM. And then we'll have the Q&A time. So I did it this way because some people, it was kind of going long when I was practicing it. So we might go over an hour and a half. So I want you to get, like, I think step one is the coolest part, but you can definitely stay to the end. Just letting you know that it might go a little bit long. Is that okay? I hope. It's just because I just got a lot of stuff to share with you guys. Okay, so what is the number one most common mistakes IMGs make with their GME application? What do you think is the number one most common mistake? Anybody? Anybody? You're like, I'm going to tell you. Okay, it is too many IMGs underestimate the importance of a strategic application approach. So you need a strategic approach to your application. If you don't use strategy, I love strategy. If you don't use strategy, you actually will reduce the visibility of your application. Not as many program directors will see it if you make these mistakes. So there will be missed opportunities for invitations. You might have inconsistent messaging that will kind of be a turn off. Like, well, she's saying one thing here and one thing there. It's not matching. We got to be consistent. So you're asking, is it really possible to find programs that are the right fit for me? And yes, there are. Yes. So how can smart application strategies help you match in 2025? I'm going to show you a couple of examples now. So these are just people that worked with me over the last couple of years. So I want to tell you a little bit about their stories. Philippe came to me, like, he came early. He was like in January, and he was going to apply for the match that year. So we got together, we worked on his personal statement together, and we went back and forth until it was aligned with his values and experience. And so he was actually ready. He was already doing this. He was already doing these steps that I'm going to tell you about. He was doing them early in the process. I was so proud of him. And you know what happened? Something came through early. So there was some position that opened up, like in July or June, I should say, like somebody didn't show up or couldn't go to their resident position. So it opened up. He was ready. He was ready. He was able to apply, and he got the position. So that's why I think that some people wait until the last minute. I think that's a mistake. You know, get the stuff, do it. One thing about procrastination, and I'm the worst, don't worry. What I've learned is if I start something early and then maybe I procrastinate a little bit, but at least it will be started, right? So that's what I like about Philippe's approach. We can apply like that without going through the match. Yes, you can, Ria. Yes, you can. It depends. You kind of have to be at the right place at the right time. It's not common, but it was something that he could do because he was ready. So he was ready with all of his certifications and his LORs and his personal statement. He was ready. He had a CV. He just, you know, an opening came up and he applied. Yes, you can do that, but it is unusual. It's not the usual way. But I wanted to tell you that because he's a great example of being on top of it, right? Having his ducks in the row, having all of his ducks in a row. That's how we say it in English. And I also want to share with you Erica's application. She came to me last summer. I really love Erica. But when I saw her application, it was really kind of a mess. I didn't know really what it was that she wanted out of it. So she definitely wanted family medicine, but I couldn't tell from her personal statement or application. So we got it organized and focused on family medicine, and she was able to match this last March, and she just started, and she's still sending me, you know, Instagram photos about she just finished her surgery rotation. That's tough. Family medicine and you're doing surgery. That's tough. But I just she had a lot of problems. She was a very old year graduation and some other things. And so we you know, we had to work together. There was issues, but we did it. We did it together. So I thought that might encourage you to tell you about these two. One that really had all his ducks in a row. Erica, she just kind of, you know, there was a lot of work. Let me put it that way. There was a lot to get her ready, and we did it together. So of course she interviewed fantastically. So I wanted to go over now a little bit over the Match 2025 cycle. I'm just going to go through this quickly, but I don't want to assume that everybody here knows all these things. You know, there's going to be a lot of acronyms and organizations, and I want to make sure that we're speaking the same language, acronym language, right? Okay, so you might want to take a picture of this. You know, if you want to do a screenshot of this one, I had to go to like 3 different places to get this cycle down because not everybody has all the dates in one place. So I gathered them together, and here it is. So you want to take a screenshot? I'm gonna let you do it now. Okay, is that good? Thumbs up. Are you ready? All right, good. All right. So that is the schedule. Good. Now, we know that there are some specialties that are not going to be using the ERAS. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. You might know it. So most notably OBGYN. Do we have any OBGYN here? They're going to be using a different system called Residency CAS. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that is a big change. So what is this alphabet soup we're talking about? We have got the ECFMG, we have OASIS, we have AAMC, ERAS, Thalamus, NRMP. It's just crazy, guys. So the ECFMG, they're the ones that give you your ECFMG certification, and they have an online system called OASIS. You're probably dealing with that to get certified. That's where you have to upload all your documents. Then we have the AAMC, and they host the ERAS, and also through them, you're going to register for Thalamus, which is where you're going to get your invitations from. And then there's Residency CAS, which is for OBGYN only, and a few other specialties, but mainly it's just OBGYN. And then there's the NRMP, which is the match, which has the R3 system. So why I'm showing you this is because you have to have you have to have registered and an account with Oasis. Oops, the other way. Oasis, ERAS, Thalamus, and Residency CAS. And if you're OBGYN and NRMP, all of these are separate. Okay, so it's kind of complicated, but you have to have them. You have to have accounts with all of them. Okay, you have to do that. So I watched a lot of webinars for you guys. So these are all the webinars that AAMC has sponsored and hosted over the last 4 or 5 months. And I've watched almost all of them. So this is where I'm getting my information from. Okay, because like I told you, I am not a doctor. I've never applied for residency. I've helped many IMGs. But when new stuff comes on the horizon, I do my homework. I research and I find out the best answers and the best advice that I can give you. I don't know everything, and I'm fine with saying that, but I kind of know how to find out the right information, and that's what I'm doing tonight. So if I inadvertently give the wrong information tonight, that tell me immediately. I would love to know if I'm saying something that you don't agree with. I'm fine with that. But I did not get this information from WhatsApp groups, although they're great. I didn't get it from rumors, nothing like that. I go to the source of the information. So I hope that you can trust me on that. Okay. So here we are. Step one of being able to have a very smart application strategy is to learn how to research and identify programs. This is very important because you're going to be applying to them. And how do you do that? Well, you get a couple of tools. One is the Enhanced Residency Explorer tool. Now, I'm curious how many people here have actually been on Residency Explorer tool this week? How many? Have you been on? Because it's brand new, right? It's brand new. They've just upgraded it. Great. I'm really glad that a few of you have been. Very good. Good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So remember that this tool, Residency Explorer, is hosted by the AAMC, the AAMC. Just remember that. So they are the ones that host that. And now this is what it looks like. There's 3 things that you need to know about this Residency Explorer tool. You've got My Profile, and then you've got Explore and Compare. So let's look at these 3. We're not going to look at everything. I'm trying to narrow it down to the place that is going to help you the most as IMGs. So when you go to these webinars that they host, they're very good. They're very good, but they are for all applicants, whether they are MDs, DOs, American IMGs, or non-US IMGs. So what I've tried to do is learn all these things, how these tools work, and I'm going to show you the best parts of it as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and of course you can use these tools however you feel is the best. So the very first thing that they ask you to do is to set up a profile. And so let's go to that page. I might have to, do I have to, yep, I got to log in again. Okay, not now. All right, it worked. All right, so we've got my profile. So that's kind of the first place we go. All right, so I got to get myself organized here. Okay. So here's what you can do. I mean, all these things are drop downs, right? They're all drop downs, and there's a lot of stuff on here. There really is. I don't know that it's really important for you to use this right at the beginning. because what it's doing is it's narrowing down your search. And you don't really want to do that at first. It would be better to see things broadly, but sort of in a smart way. And then you can narrow it down later if you're trying to make a decision between two programs, like who to apply to or who to give your signals to. So I think that one thing that you could do is come down to demographics, and you could put a minimum number of non-US IMGs. But I don't really believe that that's necessary, to tell you the truth. I feel like you should probably skip this part for now, and let's go on to the Explore. Okay, so for Explore, there's a couple of things you can do. You can, now this is important, I think, refining it by location. So we will probably want to do it by a region, right? And so let's just say, I'm just going to choose Middle Atlantic for now. And of course you can put it by state or zip or anything, but I think, well, I'll tell you in a minute, Katerina, I'll show you the percent. Your mind's gonna be blown. Okay, your mind's gonna be blown. Don't worry. So I'm just taking you step by step. Okay, and then you probably want to come down here and click your visa, whatever it is you need. Okay, so you need to do that, and you also need to put in a let me look bigger. Specialty. Yeah, sorry. So up here, hold on. Can you guys see the Residency Explorer tool? I just want to make sure you can see it. Can you see it? Okay, good. So you see up here at the top right, you can change your specialty. I'm just keeping it at internal medicine. But if you were filling out your profile, you'd put internal medicine, but like you can just go to this one and put it here, whatever it is. Okay. And now there's a couple of things you can do. So you want to take off all of these because it's like, unless you're a US IMG, I think you can just do it to here because then there's just fewer things to look at. And you can click here. Like I said, this will all be 0 because this is your profile alignment, which you get by clicking profile. But I don't think it's that important. I think it's good to see who's kind of like who's being invited, who would you like to look at? So that's important. So on this page, you can see, like, you can click this and it'll go from 0 to, so this is the highest number is 9% right here. So, but still, I still don't think this number is very important, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but it's some place to start anyway. So if you click on the program, you can see that there is a lot of information here, right? I mean, there is a ton of information that will help you. And so, but gosh, what are you supposed to do with all that? That's a lot of information to keep track of. And that's why I have made something for you. So let's see. All right, so where are we? Here. I wanted to show you something I made for you, which is your program discovery and alignment organizer. I made this for you guys. So this is part of your show up bonus. So you can take the information that's here and you can put it here if you like. Okay. I know it looks like a lot of work, but you just do a little bit at a time and it will show you, it'll give you an example of, you can put the name, the code, go ahead and put the code down and I'll tell you why in a minute. That's how you apply, you need it. And then also the website, the email address, the region. Look what I did for you guys. I did a little drop down. Wasn't that nice? And then also the sponsorship. And I'm going to show you this in a minute. And then if you're competitive. So if you're competitive, you want to find out by going here. If you go down here, it will tell you it will tell you the score. Wait, let's keep going down. Wait, was it up there? I thought it was higher. Nope. Okay, so we got to go down here and find out the score. Here it is. So minimum step 2 score for interview consideration. So that might be something that's important to you. So then you would go over there and you could put down step 2 CK 240. All right. So then, you know, you could fill that one out. And then I have over here, once you've filled all this out, you can decide if it is a reach program, or is it a match program, or is it a safety program? So that means 3 kind of levels of alignment for your application. You have to be really honest with yourself. So how competitive or an applicant are you? So if you're really in alignment, that would be a match. If you feel like you're qualified more than what they outlined, then it would be a safety. If you feel like it's a reach, but you really love the program, then that's what you put down. Okay, so that is the Residency Explorer. Okay, now we're going to go back and I'm going to answer your question here in a minute. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. Yes, it matters immensely, but I'm going to show you how you can find it so easily. So if I go back and then, so if I go back and I've clicked, so I've got to click a few here so that I can compare. So if I click these and I click compare, okay, so what you need to do is come all the way. There's lots of things to check here, but I'm telling you that the most important thing for you to click is this one right here. The composition of applicants invited to interview by medical student type, MD, DO, US citizen, IMG, or non-US citizen, IMG. Now, if I just click that one, that's all I'm clicking. Of course, I can come back later, you know, and do these other things, but we're talking about the initial run, and I submit it. Okay, let's see what we find out here. Let's see if we find out here. You can see right here, look at this. Percent of applicants invited to interview by applicant type. So let's just say they had 100 people that they interviewed, and I don't, you know, you have to do the division, but let's just say it's 100. So out of the 100, you know, 10 non-US IMGs were invited to interview. Do you understand? So at this point in your application process, this is the most important number to know for now. There are other things to think about later, but this is the number. So the other one that said 9% on the other page, that meant of all the IMGs that applied, 9% were invited. Okay, do you understand? That's a different math problem. You guys are scientists. You should be able to figure it out. So the 9% was of all the IMGs that applied. So let's just say that 100 IMGs applied and only 9 were actually interviewed, right? But here, this says of the 100, 10 were actually invited to interview. 66% here, 44%. Can you see how this is a really important number to know? Look at this, 80%. What's this program? You know, this is Brooklyn, okay? So you can see that they are, when you talk about IMG friendly, oh my goodness, that is extremely friendly. You know, so this one, not as much, right? You can see for a comparison here. And you can certainly download this. It gives you an option here. Sorry, I'm having to move. I need 2 places to put my stuff. You can see up here, you can download the comparison, but I don't think that's really that important for you to compare here. It's totally up to you what you do, but that's why I made this. Okay, so are they friendly? This is 66% for this Lincoln Mental Health Center. Do you see how, does that make sense to you? When you're applying, right? When you're applying. So this is sort of the first thing that you can look at to decide if there is a program that's IMG friendly. Now, does that mean you want to apply there? Maybe not. Maybe you've heard some really bad things about Lincoln Medical. I don't know anything about it, but maybe it's not where you want to apply. But that's an example of how you can figure that out. Can we see other criteria? Yes, I'm going to show you that, Mina. Thank you. No, Residency Explorer does not have year of graduation. So anyway, so you can see though how initially this is a great help when you are comparing programs, what you should, which ones you should think about applying to. Now, again, you can click on the program and you can go through and see some of the other things, you know, that you're interested in. But I think at this point, what you should do is go on to, I would get through this. And then I'm going to go to bam. I said bam. And then we're going to go to, nope. I need to go to Frida. Hold on just a second. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second. I think I'm out of order here. Just 1 second. This happens like once a time. Where's my Frida? So next, what we're going to do is go to Frida, but I can't find it right now. So that's the, okay, here it is. All right. I'm just a little bit off, but give me a moment here. Okay. 1 moment. Okay. Now I'm ready. Y'all forgive me? All right. Now. All right. Does U.S. citizens also include those with green cards? No, a U.S. citizen, what they're talking about, well, okay, so a U.S. citizen IMG, a U.S. IMG, I mean, you're still considered a non-U.S. IMG, except for you don't need a visa. That's the big difference. Okay, so that's the big difference. Okay, so let's go on. So now what we do is we go on to Frida. Okay, presenter view. I'm learning. Now what you'd like to do, so you started your, you know, your discovery here, but there's still some holes. So now we go to Frida, and I want to show you that it's a little bit different this year because that's where you want to kind of go if you're OBGYN. You want to use Frida, although OBGYN can still use Residency Explorer, just like what I showed you. And also all the other specialties can use Frida, so that's fine. The one thing that's different this year is that for OBGYN, there's this alignment check index, which tells you, it kind of shows you if you're a good fit. Your score will generate the initial program ranking. But unfortunately, that doesn't work for anybody but OBGYN. So I would say if you're OBGYN, go ahead and use that index. But for everyone else, it's not something that you can use. Okay, so for the rest of you, though, we have got to, we can use it for all specialties, right? So, but I want to go, let me go here. So just so I can go to Frida. Let's see. Explore specialties. Here we go. List of specialties. And then I want to go just internal medicine just to make it easy today. Oh, there's a lot of internal medicines. All right, there we go. Now you can't compare programs on Frida unless you pay. You got to pay for it, right? You got to pay. And it won't let me become a member because I'm not a doctor or student. So I'm just showing you on the free one for now, but that's okay. So there's a couple of things that you can do on Frida that you can't do on Residency Explorer. I'm trying to figure out where are we going? Where are we going? Search programs. That's what we're trying to do. Now, this is something that you can do just for ease. You can come over here because you have you saved the program code, and then you can come to Frida and you can just type it in like this. See, and it comes up. That's a little shortcut for you. So here is what it looks like now. So there are some things on Frida that you can't find on Residency Explorer. Some of those things are you can search by the specialty or the program code, but I feel like you should start with Residency Explorer unless you're maybe if you're OBGYN, not, but everyone else start with Residency Explorer, and so that you can find out if it's IMG friendly, because it's harder to find that in Frida. It's a little bit more difficult. You got to dig for it. And I feel like this enhanced tool now on Residency Explorer will give you that shortcut. So start there, and then you can keep building it as you wish. Of course, you can use these tools any way you want. I'm kind of giving you shortcuts. And then there's another thing, a map tool, a map feature that's really cool. And then it will show you minimum scores in your graduation. I'll show you that in a minute. And then actually interview information. It'll show you the dates of their interviews and how many interviews they gave last year. Okay, so let's go into Frida and look at that. So we can go here, we can, scroll down, and it will, you can look at the map. But let's go down a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to click this one, program and work schedule. It doesn't sound like that's be where it is, but that's where it is. So here it says that I like this one, the interview period, the latest dates, the interview periods here. So it'll show you when it's interviewing. They're interviewing between November 4th and December 24th. So you kind of know when they're going to be interviewing. What's the bracket there? I like that. You also know that they interviewed 670 for PGY1 positions. So hopefully you'll come to my next webinar about crafting unforgettable interview responses, because you want to be unforgettable. There's 670. You want to be unforgettable, okay? Because there's a lot there. And then it'll say how many required letters of recommendation, 3 there, okay? And then it has the score there. And then also, let's see, where's the year of graduation is sometimes here. So there's this visa is there. And then where's my year of graduation? It's here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, PGY applicants to this program. So this is year of graduation right here. So they're pretty good, 6 years. Some of them are 3. So you see all these things that you can put here to say if you're competitive, right? So, you could also, year of graduation, right, is, let's say yours is greater than 6. So say 7, so you could put it there just so you'll know. Oh, I'm sorry, they said 6. So it'll show kind of what the standard is there. All right. So let's get back to it. So that's Frida. You can see there's a lot of information there. You can really get bogged down on this stuff. That's why I'm trying to give you these shortcuts and this tool. So it'll give you a quick view about, how to rank these people, these programs. And then after all of that, you could come over here and decide if you are going to signal or not. Of course, you can change that. It's easy enough. And the other thing about this tool, can you tell I'm proud of it? Is that if you keep going over to the right, once you get an interview, it's going to give you some information that you can, or ask you for information so that you can prepare for the interviews, the key personnel, something about the community, and then the population, diversity, those kinds of things. So that's a tool for you that I've made. Okay, so is that neat? I don't know. I think that's helpful. So anyway, that is step one. That is step one. So what do you think about step one? Is that helpful at all? It's pretty cool. Yes, yes. Frida tells you the percentage of IMGs also, but I think it's easier to find in Residency Explorer. And like I said, hey, if you're fine with one, that's good. I think that to me, uh, I liked it kind of that way. So what I'm going to do now is tell you a little bit about my application PowerPack. We're going to, if you'll just bear with me, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I offer tonight. And then right after that, I'm going to give you the chance to get your sign up bonus, which is that organizer and a tutorial, kind of a tutorial walkthrough of what I just told you, and then also the organizer. Let's see. Sometimes things are not correlating with website like visa sponsorship. Yeah, Mina, good. That's good. That's a good catch. Sometimes this information can be inaccurate, right? So there is nothing that says that you can't reach out to the program and ask them the question. So I've heard, you know, I've listened to a lot of webinars, and I've talked to actually program directors personally, and it seems like you know, they really don't mind people reaching out with a legitimate question. They get aggravated when people just inundate their inboxes with, I'm interested in your program, I want an invitation. I mean, they don't really want to see that. But if you have a question and you say, I am trying to determine my program list and I'm very interested in your program, but I don't know about this, can you verify this information? So just remember, some of this information, it's just it's what people have given the AAMC, you see. So sometimes it can be inaccurate, but I think they've tried to keep it as accurate as possible. Okay. Hold on. All right. I'm just about to get to this. Again, bear with me. I'm a little bit out of order. Okay. I think I got it now. All right. Share screen. All right. Now, all right, back on. So your application is an important part of becoming matched, right? So I think of it as kind of three different things. You've got the application part, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But that's the part where you put together your CV, your experiences, you put together your settings preferences, just everything on your CV, your experience, all those things. And then you also have to get this piece right. You have to be able to build a list that you can make informed decisions. So when it comes to the time where you are going to apply for the programs, you're going to be ready. Also, it brings the stress level down if you do a little bit of this at a time. I mean, what is this, August 16th? So essentially you have another month to figure this out. Okay, so but there's a lot to think about. And then there's interview preparation after that. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to this stage. So you've got the application stage, you've got the interview stage, but sometimes when you look at your application, you might be confused about how to signal or show preferences. What are the strategies, or should I just leave it blank? We're going to talk about that if you'll stick around. How should I order my experiences? Like, which ones are you going to choose as selected experiences or an impactful experience? How are you going to choose? If you have red flags, where should you add your explanation? You don't know what program directors are looking for in a personal statement. Is it just a blank page? You don't know what to put down in there. Where do you start? And then maybe you've written a statement and you're happy with it, but you just are not confident about uploading it yet. Is there someone I can trust to review it and give me honest feedback? Sometimes you just need a friend, to look at it. So I want to show you how I can help you tonight. Introducing the Match 2025 Application PowerPack. This IMG Application PowerPack is designed to guide you through that application process with expert support and resources so that you have a better chance to secure interviews, because that's what this is all about. So the more interviews, the better your application, the stronger your application, then the more interviews you get, and then that increases your chances of getting matched. It's kind of a numbers game, but we're going to use strategy with it as well. So what does it include? There's 3 things that it includes. First, it's the application boot camp. So this is an online, on-demand course that you can look at the videos, and you can be, if you're just totally blank, you can go from blank page to upload ready in just 7 days. Now, it doesn't have to be 7 consecutive days. It can be 7 days that you choose, but I've broken it down into 7 sections. But I mean, things are moving along here. So you may want to just use the 7 days and get it done. You also will get the AI-powered application success guide. So this is a guide that I put together myself to help IMGs use AI the right way. So what I've done is I've crafted these prompts that you can use with AI. I've been using AI since it came out, and I feel confident about using it. And I wanted to share some of that with my IMG friends. So I'm sharing the prompts with you. So you can just take those prompts and it will help you. It will so that you can feel good about using AI to help you with your personal statements and with some of the written parts in your application, but it will still not sound like AI. So I'm taking you through that process. It's really a great tool, I think, a very helpful tool. And then also you will get 2 personalized review credits. So you're going to receive feedback from me on your personal statement and your GME application. So that's one for one specialty. So that is included in there. So you get that application boot camp, success guide, and review credits. What do you think? Does that sound like a pretty good program? So how can it help? How can that application boot camp help you? It's going to give you a structured plan. It's going to give you resources. Actually, this program discovery sheet is in there. I've got one in there, but I just improved this one, so I'm going to switch it out. So it'll be in there. You'll have flexible learning. So if you're in India right now, it's hard to get to a class, right? So it's on demand. You can have increased confidence, and it'll overcome your procrastination. It'll get you moving forward. That success guide, like I said, it's prompts. It enhances your writing while maintaining your unique voice. It's very important. You don't want it to sound like AI. You want to streamline the process of applications and writing and also boost your confidence. And then, of course, I hope that the time with me and helping you with your application materials is I'm going to give you detailed feedback, written comments, a video walkthrough, and we just go back and forth until you feel like, yes, this reflects my experience and my goals and my passion. So that's the way that works with me. That's a very easy way to get to working with me. And so that is a $499 value, but we want more. We want more, Simone. Can we do more? Yes, I can do better than that. I can give you even more than that. So after you get your application done, you're going to want to start preparing for your interview. So I'm giving you these 3 courses as bonuses. The networking challenge, which is going to be great. If you join tonight, you can use those ideas in the networking challenge when you go to New York next week. By the way, Jesus is the one that challenged me to make this challenge. And then the interview mastery, so how to ace your answers and build rapport effortlessly. And then residency readiness is to help you with your cross-cultural communication skills. All of those are included. Also, 1-year membership to the Help for Docs community, which includes live sessions with me and also group sessions and also other recorded sessions and guides and templates, all kinds of stuff. So all of that, guys, all of that is only $349. So it is, you know, essentially $2,100 worth of things, worth of resources, but you can get it for $349. That is, so let's see, I'm going to okay. All right, I will get to that question here in a minute, okay? But even more, if you sign up before the end of the webinar, I will give you a 30-minute personalized brainstorming with what we're talking about tonight. I'll give you one-on-one guidance so that you can walk you through the Residency Explorer tool and Frida, and we can start with your program list, and I'll give you some strategy. It's always better to do these things together, and I'm going to offer that for those of you that are on. Let's see, how many people are here right now? I had to move everybody around, so I lost track. 42 of you here. If you sign up by the end of this webinar, you can get that 30-minute session with me, and I'll be happy to do it. I think it's really fun to work with IMGs to help them. Of course, you want a lot of mentors, but I'm offering mentorship tonight. And above all that, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. There really isn't any risk. If you decide by September 16th that it's just not, this isn't for you, this isn't what you thought it was, no problem. You just tell me, I'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. I've already done it once. And that's because they liked the program, but they decided not to apply. So they wanted their money back. I didn't have any problem with that at all. So here's how you enroll. You can just scan that. You see that little QR code? You can just scan that, and that will bring you straight to the Application PowerPack. Very easy to register, and you have instant access. There's no delay. I hope you wait till the end of the webinar in order to start accessing the things. But you can actually register right now if you want. Why wait? Why wait? And by the way, that 30-minute brainstorming session is only available to those who join tonight by the end of the webinar. Okay, so all of that is still only $349, even with that bonus, that 30-minute session. There's no change in the price. Again, so I have a lot there. So you get that it's actually over $2,000, and it is a 30-day money-back guarantee, 4 bonuses, brainstorming session. There you go. That's what you need. I'm going to put that link in. I'm going to share that link just in case you don't have a QR code. I know y'all are young. You should probably have that, right? Okay. Everyone in the meeting. All right, here you go. I'm going to give it to you. Okay, so can you please explain credit reviews? Okay, so there's 2 credits. That means I'm going to do 2 things. So I'll look at your application and give you a review, and I'll also look at your personal statement and give you feedback. So how it works practically is you upload your documents up into Google. You share the link with me as an editor, and then I'll do video comments, I'll do written comments, and we'll just go back and forth until you're happy with it. That's the way it works. So that's really what it's about. 2 documents essentially. It could be 2 personal statements. It could be, but it's usually your application and 1 personal statement. So I hope, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Well, okay, yes, I do edit it. So essentially it is about content, but I am not going to let you get out of there with bad grammar. Don't worry about that. I'm going to edit it too. I don't write it. Okay, just to be clear, I do not write your personal statement. I don't write anything. You write it and I help you get it to where it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, I've been doing it a long time and I really enjoy the process. So I hope that we can, work together. As promised, here is your show up bonus. So I'm going to be doing step 2 and step 3 in just a minute, but since you stayed and you listened to my pitch, I'm going to go ahead and give you a show up bonus now if you want it. But I'm still going to be talking about the geographic and setting preferences, and also step 3, which is signaling. Okay, so if you get part of the application PowerPack, you are going to be satisfied with how I work with you, because it's not like I'm trying to get you to client as a client and then I'm going to ignore you. No, you're going to have access to me. I have office hours. Inside the community platform, you can text me anytime you want. You can message me. So I'm always available. So I hope that and I don't take it lightly. People trust me and I'm there for them. I hope that you know that. Okay, so did you get your show up bonus? Have you clicked that? I think I probably need to do this link too. Let me see. I'm going to put this in the chat just in case. Can somebody check it and make sure that it's actually there? Can you give me a thumbs up that you're able to, scan it and it worked, or click the file? It's good? You guys, hey, look, I'm old and I can do this tech stuff, okay? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of technology. I will do a QR code. I will do it. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you so much for letting me share that opportunity with you. And don't worry, I'll be talking about it again at the end. I'll give you another opportunity to join at the end. So let's go on to step 2, geographic and setting preferences. So we're shifting gears a little bit. We were talking about, Residency Explorer, Frida. We're not going to really do that anymore. But the only thing you're going to need your tool for here is the region, but that's okay. That's fine. By the way, I wanted to show you one other thing. On the second page here, just remember, some people miss the pages, but there are pages in here. There's the top 25 there, and there's helpful links. Okay, so it's view only, sure. So you have to make a copy. So download a copy for yourself, and then you'll have access to it. Why don't you try that? Try that, Ria, try it. So you download it if you're at a computer, and then it's your copy. Okay, so yeah, and so here's the links for everything that you're going to need that's going to help you. So I did that as well. So I gave you all the links. So everything's kind of in one place. Okay, let's get back to this. Geographic and setting preferences. Okay, so you'll be asked to indicate your preferences or lack of preference by selecting up to 3 U.S. Census divisions, and then to describe your preference or lack of preference. Okay, so that's geographic. Setting preference, the same thing. Urban, suburban, or rural, and then describe your setting preferences or lack of preference. So let's think about, we're going to talk about strategy here in a minute. Did it work? Oh, good, it worked. Okay, so how are these preferences shared with the programs? It's important to know what they're going to see, so that you can make a choice on it. Okay, great, it worked. Thank you. I missed this part. Can you write her answer, please? About no edit. My answer is that I will edit. I'm not writing it. Okay, I help you revise and I help you edit. I don't write it though. But I help you with the application PowerPack though. You're going to have the boot camp and it's going to help you. I'm going to help you write it that way, because I'm going to give you some templates and some videos to help you know where to start. Okay, and then we go from there and revise it. So you don't just give it to me and I fix it. You're going to go through a couple of videos first, fix it on your own, and then I come and clean it up. I'm the mop up person at the end. Okay, so make a copy and then download. That's the way you do it. All right, so let's get back to this. For geographic division preferences, so if you select, you might want to take a screenshot of this. If you select a particular geographic division, then only the programs you apply to in that division will see your response. All other programs you apply to outside your preferred divisions will not see any information about your geographic preferences. If you select I do not have a division preference, then all programs will see your response. If you do not respond to or skip the question, no information will be provided. Okay? All right. So for setting, it's kind of the same thing. If you say that you have a setting, you put a reason why. If you say that you don't have a preference and you put a reason why, or you can skip it. Okay. So if you skip it, nobody sees anything. So what is the strategy here? Let me see if did I put it there? Okay. So the strategy here is if you're going to put a preference for your preference, you're either going to put none, no preference, right? You're going to select no preference, and you're going to say why you don't have a preference. Okay, that's one choice. The other choice is you need to put in 3 divisions because you have 3. So you don't put in 1, that doesn't help you. Put in all 3. Okay, so don't waste it. You either do 3 or none. Okay, the worst thing to do is to skip it, because if you skip it, everyone's going to think that you applied to other regions. Is that clear? Okay, so you have a choice, 3 or no preference, but don't skip. You got it? Is that clear? Thumbs up? Okay, I hope so. Same thing for setting. You either have a setting or you have a preference or a lack of preference, and you put in why you do or don't. All right. So most of the time, IMGs say they don't have a preference, and they have a good reason why, because they've worked in all these different settings, and that's fine. I think that the only way this would really benefit you as an IMG is, let me just say, for example, you want to be family medicine, you want to work in a rural area, that's really going to catch the attention of the program directors. The rest of them, I don't think they care as much. Rural, they care more. They care more. Should the choices be where most of the programs are? How about if our programs are in more than top 3 regions? Yep, that's right. That's something you got to, we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? So here are the geographic preference division map. What's next? Okay. So yeah, so here is, so you get 3. So that's why it's important to have done your homework here. If you have a list and then you have the, you've got Middle Atlantic, okay? So you're looking at your list, and then you can sort this and see how many programs are in the Middle Atlantic. So that's probably one of them that you want to say. If you, I'm gonna suggest that you choose 3, okay? And bear with me. I'm gonna tell you why here in a minute. I think I have some proof as to why. So here are the regions. And so it'll show you basically where these, their sensor, US Census, I should say, US Census regions. So you can see a lot of the programs are here in the Middle Atlantic. There are a lot in South Atlantic. There are some, there's a lot in Chicago. But if that doesn't mean that you should just apply to the places that are really, that have a lot of programs. It just depends on what programs you have chosen. Some of those factors are that it's close to family and friends, the location of the program, of course, having previous ties to the region, or else lifestyle factors, like you just like that area. So those are some of the reasons why applicants chose certain geographic preferences. So those would be the reasons why you would put, right? So if you take a screenshot, some people say, well, what am I supposed to put underneath, as to why, my explanation why? It's going to be some of this. So I suppose I have friends in Florida, but not in the whole region. So how can we write generally? Should we write specifically for Florida? No, don't write specifically for Florida. You write for the region. Just say you have friends nearby. Okay, I'll show you the map. Actually, if I'm going to show you this in residency, that my organizer, look at what I did for you. You click it right there and it's on that page. Okay, so if I do here, see what a nice thing I did for you. Okay, or you can take a screenshot if you want. All right, so yeah, so if you have friends in Florida, you don't say I have friends in Florida, you say I have friends in the region. Okay, and actually that's legitimate because the programs want to know that you have a support system. Okay, so yeah, I mean, maybe you have friends in Florida and you find a job in Virginia, but it's not like you have friends in Florida and you find a job in Washington State. You can drive there. Okay, you can. I know I'm from Texas. See, I'm from like right here. I'll drive all day long. I mean, I've driven up here. I've actually driven all the way here into Canada and back down. We're not scared of driving. So yeah, I think that's fine. So those are the reasons why you would put what your preference is. So it will be something like that. Previous ties to the region, like maybe you did a rotation there and you just really loved it in South Carolina or something, whatever it is. Okay. Let's see. Now, this is why I think that you should choose the regions instead of saying in general, like a wide, like no preference. I think that might hurt you in the long run. I know that is the temptation. I'm going to say, oh, I'm applying broadly. I've got no preference. That seems like it would be a good idea, but here's the problem. Program directors look at that. They look at it big time. Okay, they are really looking at it. So if you just say no preference, and you say in there that you'll work anywhere, you're actually reducing the chances that you'll get an invitation. So yeah, so you have to think about the strategies here. That's why it would be good for you to, go ahead and get that application PowerPack, and so that you can have that 30-minute session with me. It's going to be impossible for me to answer everybody's questions, but if you get that PowerPack and you get that 30-minute session with me, then maybe that we can work these things out together. But it is true that the program directors are huge about the geographic settings. They really are. Not so much about the setting, rural or suburban or urban. They're not as picky about that unless they're a rural program. Then they want to know that you want to live out there in the country. But the region, it seems to be a big deal to them. So they are using it. They're using it 93% use it during their admissions process at some point. So either they were using it either for invitations or for rank order. So they're using it 93%. That's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. Over half use it as a holistic way of inviting people. So that means if you're not doing the preferences, you're alienating 50% of the program directors. Do you really want to do that? So I really feel like you should choose 3, but of course that is your choice. That is your choice. Also, they kind of use it as a tiebreaker, and some of it, I wanted to show this to you. 21% use it to prepare for interviews. So if you put down that you would like to be in a region, you need to know more about the region. You're going to have to do your research and find out some good stuff about that region so that you can talk about it in the interview. That's part of the preparation. So that's why I have here, like once let's say you get interviews, right? You're going to get interviews. You're going to tell me why you're going to tell yourself what you like about this program. Are you a good fit? What's the mission and vision, key personnel, and then again, see about the community so that you'll be ready. Okay. So the question is, can I write the same family reason in all 3 regions? Do you have family in all 3 regions? Okay, listen to me. All right. I'm an old lady. Okay. I've got sons that are your age, probably. But I'm going to tell you, I don't want you to lie. Please don't. And I'm not saying you're doing that here, but it's very important to be 100% truthful in your answers because they can start to smell inconsistency. Okay, so you don't want, if that is not true for you, either make family there, make some friends, or don't say that. Don't ever say something that's not true because it can come back to bite you. And you don't want to be, that also increases your stress because if you haven't been true to yourself, then when you get in the interview, it's going to show. And then you'll say, wow, Simone, I got 15 interviews and I didn't get chosen. Well, I can't tell you why you weren't matched. But I do know that that is something that program directors say, that people will come in there and they have, they're not prepared and they're not themselves. So, so if you have family in all 3 regions, go for it. Go for it. Yeah, of course, of course. Do we get the Excel sheet filled with all programs in the columns with the pack? No, sorry. You got to put your own programs. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. You put your own programs in there. I can't do that for you. Sorry. But if you join the Application PowerPack, I will sit there with you for 30 minutes and make sure you know how to use the tool. I think it's very helpful. I mean, I do have the tutorial that goes along with it. Okay, that will help you. You can just click right there. It's on YouTube and you can watch it and it'll help you again. So if you have any questions about that. Okay, so I don't know. That's my pitch to you about why I do believe that you should choose 3 geographic settings or 3 geographic preferences, but it's your application. You are grown people. You are brilliant. You can make your own decisions, talk to your family, get a lot of input. It's not just about, I'm just showing you this, what I know, but there are other things that come into play too. So you have to think about all those things. I'm just telling you a little bit about the strategy. Would it be advisable to say no preference if we live in a different country and just have a family member in one state? I mean, you have to decide for yourself, but just know if you say no preference, you are alienating 50%. So it can be for other reasons, right? It's not just about family. It's also that location, that region, that you like it. Okay. So you're from Nepal. So you like the mountains of, the Blue Ridge Mountains are close. I don't know. You like the beach, there's history there. You know that there is a strong community of people like you. These are all things that will, help. All right. But the bottom line, okay, the bottom line is both program directors and applicants consider geographic location to be one of the most important factors in residency selection based on the feedback of the 2023 ERAS season that was last year. So that's the bottom line. It seems like, oh, this is just one little box that I have to click. But it is one of the most important factors. So it is something to think about and talk to your family and your mentors about. And I would say not just asking people on WhatsApp, okay? Ask your seniors, look and see, who's residents there. Do you have people that maybe people from your school? Can I mention these 3 states in particular? Like, I don't exactly understand what you're saying. Okay. Okay, got it. I got my parents and brother and cousins in Chicago, in Maryland. Yeah, don't say the states. Say the region. Because if we look back at the map, if you get a bunch of friends in Texas, but you get a job in Louisiana, that's not the same thing. Okay. So like I said, just say you have them in the region. That's fine. Okay. Of course, if it's in the interview, you got to tell them, like, I've got a bunch of people in Oklahoma, in Dallas. Okay. Something like that. So yeah, just be honest, but I would say don't be very specific. Like, I only want to live in Houston. Don't say it that way. You got to be a little bit wider, but not maybe countrywide. We don't want the whole United States. We got to look at it by region. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next thing, and I will answer questions later. But it is 8:20, so I want to move along with this because I know we'll have questions, and we got to talk about signaling, y'all. We have to talk about signaling. Now, this one is the most personal one. It is impossible for me to tell you how to signal here, but that's really why I gave you, I developed this for you. So that you could look at it in black and white and figure out, and there are other organizers. I just felt like this was one that could at least get you started, and then you can decide which ones to signal. Okay, but I can't tell you who to signal. So it's a valuable tool in the application process. It allows you to express a higher level of interest in specific programs, and it helps residency programs identify candidates who are particularly interested in their offerings, potentially increasing your chances of receiving an interview invitation. So research, this is what's important. Research thoroughly, prioritize programs, and you also want to verify participation, because there are a few that won't be using the signals. So you can do that by going to here, and are they, well, actually, there isn't one place to find out. So you'll have to ask them if you're really interested in a place. There isn't one place to ask. By the way, I looked at, so I think in the future, the Residency Explorer tool will have this part of the signaling, like how did the program directors use signals to invite, but I don't see, it's not in there now per program. I don't see it. So tell me maybe if they add it a little later or something, I don't know. But they don't have it in there now, as far as I know. The bonus link due to bad internet. Okay, there, I'll go back just for you. Where am I? There you go. All right, so we've got that. You could either do the QR code, or I'm going to put it back here. All right, there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, so let's go to the settings. So I don't see per program that they are reporting. Okay. But so you'll have to find out, how many signals you get. You can find that out. It's different for different specialties. So normally you'll get 5 or 7 or 15, and they're all equal. To make it worse, though, for internal resident in medicine residences, they have a 2-tiered system, which is gold and silver. So you get some for gold and you get some for silver. I think it's like, to me, it's like the worst. That's the worst one. I'd rather just like have the whole amount rather than that. So just remember about signaling. You can edit or arrange them in the saved programs page. But once you submit your application, that's it. You can't change it after that. So you need to be really sure at the time of your application that you know who you want to signal. And then they're just saying that there's no signals during the SOAP process. But again, after you apply to the program, you cannot change your signal. So be very careful. That's what I'm saying. So you don't want to avoid wasting, you want to avoid wasting signals by understanding the process, signaling to aligned program, and definitely using all your signals. So keep track of it in your ERAS application or your residency CAS, that you're using them all and that you're using them properly. So that's why I thought this would be a good tool to kind of play around with it and decide what you want to do with it before you get into your, and then just do them all at one time instead of piecemealing. It's like, well, I think I want to do it here. I think I want to do it here. Once you really understand by using this tool who you want to signal and how you want to signal them, then you can put it in your ERAS, or you can just do it in ERAS, but there is some room for mistakes there. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to make that mistake. Okay. But the bottom line for that signaling is to listen to your heart and also go for what you want. That's why I said here in here, you think about, what is a reach, a match, and a safety. So they say that for your signals, sometimes it's smart. You could use one. So if you have 3 golds, is that right? You have 3 golds in internal medicine. So maybe you want to use one for a reach, and maybe you want to use one for a match. Maybe you want to use one for a safety, and then everyone else is silver. But you'll just have to decide how you're going to use that. And like again said, talk to your family, find out what is in your heart. Go for what you want. Okay. Don't settle. I know that sometimes you're sitting here and you're just, it's sort of this feeling of desperation. And I am not going to pretend to understand what that feels like. But I will say this, that feeling of desperation, sometimes it comes out and it feels negative. So you want to always have a positive mindset. So like, of course I'm going to match, and you do the work, and you don't just apply for every single program, but you use a targeted approach for programs that that will be good for you. Okay. Because if you compromise, it's going to come out in the end. Things work for a reason. That's what I believe. And I got to stop just for a second to get a little bit of tea, because look at this. I am not hydrated, y'all. Anyone here ever been to a Buc-ee's? If you live in Texas? Okay. Signals to remind ourselves of the programs in which we get interviews or in which we don't get interviews. No, signals are kind of like a rank order list before the season. So you're telling them, you're signaling them, you're saying, hey, I really like your program. I really want an interview. Okay. But so you have to use those wisely. You got to use them wisely. Don't just throw them out. Like I said, it'd be good to do one reach, which means like your dream program that you may not maybe you don't feel confident about, but you really love to interview there. One that seems to align well, and then one where you feel like you're very confident about being a good applicant for that program. So one reach, one match, one safety. And then, but of course, if you're not on the 2-tiered system, if you just have 15, then you just send it to the 15, your top 15 that you have researched and you want to apply to. You're not guaranteed an interview for these places. That is just to signal that program, and the program director will see that you signaled them and will say, okay, I know that they're interested, and it increases the odds of you getting an invitation, but it doesn't guarantee it. Yeah, let's see. Average step scores. My scores are just below average. Okay, so yeah, you do know, because in Frida, it shows you. If you go back, so now you have my tutorial, go back and look at it again. But there is a place where you can find, well, it's not average, but it is, what they accept, 240 here. Again, though, if that's the only thing keeping you back from applying to something, you can just reach out to the program coordinator and say, I just want to make sure that this is accurate, because it says that, a minimum 240 and I have a 238, so I think that's okay. emails of interest and intent. Okay, you don't need that right now, Ria. Please don't send any letters out. Please don't send any letters out. Spend all your time doing this. Okay, by the way, if you join the Application PowerPack, that's all taken care of because I have templates for all those things. And we get together on Friday nights and I'll say, okay, it's time to write your letters of interest. It's time to write your letters of intent. Okay. I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a coach. You're going to have a coach from now through match and even beyond. So yeah, get on there. You'll be with me for a year and you'll be like, wow, it'll be awesome. You can ask me anything you want. Should we signal to programs where you interviewed already last year? Yeah, if you want to interview there. I mean, you definitely have a connection with them. So if you have a connection with them and and also, like how did you feel about it? If you didn't like the interview, if you didn't like the people, maybe you don't want to signal. But yeah, I mean, what it boils down is your heart. It really does. It boils down to your heart. So think about how much you've already accomplished so much. So how many people are still here? 36. A couple people dropped out, but most of you guys are still here. I'm really proud of you making it this far. Think about that. You have committed to working on your preliminary program list this weekend, right? I hope you have commit to it. You've got some motivation now. You've got some encouragement from me. You got a tutorial, you got a tool. Get started on it. Thank you. Thank you. And you're going to get those online tools. You got your show up bonuses. You've kind of gotten to know how it feels to work with me, I hope. I think it's like a lot of love, but I'm like a coach too. I'm going to say, okay, you can do better. I'm gentle with it. I'm gentle, but hopefully encouraging. And, the most important thing is that you've connected with somebody who cares, and that's me. That's the most important thing you've done tonight. And I hope that it continues. I hope it continues. So, feedback is a gift. Your feedback right now is a gift to me. Are you glad that we spent this time together? Did you enjoy yourself? Did you learn something new? Are you excited about that residency organizer? What do you think? Like, I just made that for you. And I'll tell you a secret. I stayed up till midnight last night finishing that off for you. And I don't stay up that late. Okay, this is late for me. This is late. You have such an advantage over others right now because you understand the process better. Yes, there's still a lot of confusing things. There's a lot of personal things that you really can't learn in a webinar that way. And also, I hope you'll think about it. I have another webinar coming up in September about interview mastery. So I hope that you'll come to that one also. Of course, if you are in the if you get the IMG application power pack, we'll be connected. We'll be connected then. So I hope you found that webinar soon. And we're going to get to the Q&A. I'm going to, if you have questions, but I hope you understand it's really impossible to address all the questions you might have about your individual session situation. So I just want to make sure that that, I'd love to do that 30-minute brainstorming session with you, but that is only for those who purchase the application power pack tonight before this webinar is over. Okay, I hope you understand that because it does take a lot of time and I'm happy to use it, but it has to be people who are committed. So remember, for that $349, you get the application, the application boot camp, which are all the videos that walk you through 7 sessions through your application, your personal statement, all the things that you're going to need. And you're going to get that AI prompting guide. That thing is great. It saves a lot of time. So if you haven't started anything, you can get it done pretty quickly, but it's still going to reflect your voice. You're going to get those 2 personalized review sessions, reviews, sorry, for your application and for your personal statement. And above all that, you still get the courses about interview mastery, networking, which you can use for next week. And what about when you match? Are you ready on day one? Are you going to be ready? I can help you with that. Cross-cultural communication skills. Let me tell you something. I'm working with a resident right now. And guess what? His program director hired me because he's worried about this guy. He's worried about this guy. And so now I'm working with a resident who's already in residency. He's a PGY1. Boy, I wish he had talked to me before. So I can get you ready for that, for those kind of tricky communication issues. So I can do that as well. And then you'll be part of the Help for Docs community. We have live sessions every Friday night, as well as chatting and resources and all that. And then also that brainstorming session with me, 30 minutes. There is the I hope, does that QR code work? I hope so. Okay, copy, and I'm gonna put it there. Make sure you got it. All right. Now, if you decide, well, I just can't do it tonight, I have to meet, I have to talk to my family, you will actually be able to get the Application PowerPack for $349 from now, actually through the 25th, because I wanted to have it open for a while for you guys who are going to meet me in New York. So that will be available for a while. So keep that link, bookmark it. If you need to talk to your family, or you need to, if you need to get your finances together, I understand that. But if you do want that 30-minute session with me, that's only tonight. I hope you understand that. But the $349 Application PowerPack is good. That link will be good for a while. Okay, but you want to jump in. You want to jump in as soon as you can to get that done. Let's see here. Is there any more questions now? I'm like really open for questions now. I'm on it. So what are your questions about any of this? About the Application PowerPack, or about, something that we went over tonight? Is there any questions? Anybody? We got people dropping off. Can I get this recording? Yes. Okay, here's what happens. After this, what's going to happen is you're going to get an email like tomorrow, probably, and it'll have a link to this, okay, to my YouTube channel. It says, okay, here's the question. Is there any benefit to applying on September 4th versus a week or so later? No, no benefit. Now, you need to have it in, really, I wouldn't wait till the last minute. I would say by the 20th, try to shoot for that. Try to shoot for the 20th, because, websites can go down, they can get overloaded. So you don't want to wait till the last minute, but there is absolutely no benefit to doing it before. I mean, if you're ready, you can do it, but there's no benefit of getting there early, because all the programs, they won't be able to see it till the 25th. Okay. So if I have a letter from an EM doctor, can we use it for IM programs? Yeah, you can. Hopefully you have at least one IM letter of recommendation, I hope. But yeah, you can use 3. It's better if you have, but you can use letter of recommendation from things that are not medical. Even if you're a volunteer, you can get a letter of recommendation. You can get a letter of recommendation from a job. You can have as many as you want. Put them all in there. Why not? There's usually like not a limit per se to how many that you can upload, and then you can choose which ones to actually use. So yeah, just remember, anyone who's going to advocate for you that has a little bit of credibility, they can write you an LOR. A boss can, a supervisor, even if it's if you've worked in the Red Cross or something like that, you can get letters of recommendation and put them in there. There are, because remember, these program directors, they're looking at your paper. They're looking at you on paper, and they're trying to make a holistic, they're trying to make a whole person out of a flat piece of paper. So the more information you give about your person, like what your life is like and your causes, then they can start to build a picture about you. And they'll think, they get intrigued and they think, oh, I want to take a look at this person. They have a really, I mean, believe it or not, the hobbies section, very important. Don't just list your hobbies, list one hobby that you have a passion for. And sometimes you don't know. It could really spark something. Um, let's see. Uh, let's see. Keep going. Is there a difference between waiving my right to view my letter of recommendation or not? Yeah, you should waive it. You shouldn't look at it. Now, if sometimes you can ask them, it depends on your relationship with your preceptor or your supervisor. Some of them want you to write it. Okay, so it runs the gambit. It's really hard for me to tell you, but no, they have to upload it themselves. So that's something that works. Okay. Can you describe the difference between an LOR and a SLO? Okay. So I only know a little bit about a SLO, but I do know that it is an effective tool. So if your specialty, if they prefer you to have a SLO, you might want to choose someone who really knows you well, but maybe not the greatest writer, like someone from back home, right? And I'm not trying to say anything negative here, but let's just say I'm just giving you a situation. Maybe you have a supervisor from back home and you're not quite sure about their writing ability, or maybe they're busy. They can use the SLO, and it's really just about them going and clicking things. They're just click, click, click. So it's a scale. So they're going to ask about a characteristic, and then they click on so they don't have to do a lot of writing, you see. So it's a great one it's almost like a gift that you give one of your supervisors. It's like, if you'll just do that, and I think you give them a link, and then they can access it and they can do the SLO. The letters of recommendation are letters. Okay, they're letters. So that's the difference. Let's see. If someone is applying to both IM and FM, what is your advice about how the application should be? A lot of things, overlap with IM and FM. So it would just be good to have a representation of both of those things. For the signals, you get signals so you get that's separate. Okay, signals for IM are separate signals from FM. So you actually get two sets of signals. I hope that's clear. So can we get an LOR from our mentor, even if we haven't actually worked or done an observership? I would not recommend that. No, it needs somebody that knows your work ethic, maybe a PI in research, like I said, a volunteer, but not just a mentor from back home. But something that a mentor can help you with is later. So if you have a mentor who has some credibility in an organization, they could sort of do some networking for you. That's the best use of a mentor for later. Like if there's a program you really want it, you really, really want an interview and you didn't get one, and I'm talking about later, like November, then maybe they can send a letter on your behalf. Okay, that would be kind of like a letter of interest, but on your behalf. So that's the way that a mentor can help you. I don't think a mentor from an LOR from a mentor is a good idea unless you've worked with them, I should say. Is that it? We're down to 21. Do we have more questions? If someone is working full-time in US at a pharmacy at a hospital, would you recommend putting? Yes. Why are you even asking? Yes, put that in there. A US hospital, you're learning a lot about the system, right? You know how the hospital works, you know who does what. I hope you do. I hope you understand how the team works together to help a patient, nurses, techs, the janitor, the custodian, the cafeteria lady. Yeah, definitely do that. My mentor told me to write the LOR. What is important for an LOR? Well, okay, I don't want to give you, I'm going to keep pitching this, okay? But if you purchase the Application PowerPack, inside there is a template for how to write an LOR for yourself. Okay. So what's important in it? So I have a template in there for you. Anything that you need to write, I have a template for. And I have those templates because people asked for them. They said, just like this. Oh, my mentor asked me to write the LOR. How am I supposed to do that? And then I figured it out and I gave you a template. Okay. Would you recommend me using an LOR from my supervisor versus by a physician I rotated with last year? Why wouldn't you just do both? Get both. You don't have to choose, right? I mean, it would depend. Get both of them and then see which one's stronger, right? Because that's a kind of a negative thing about these LORs. It kind of depends on how good of a writer they are and how good they have represented your abilities. So, get both and then they'll be there. They'll be there. Okay. All right. Anything else? If someone's your really good friend, you can ask to see it. Yes, you will get a link for the recording of the session. Yes, you will. Tomorrow, you'll probably get an email. I'm gonna have to stay. I'm waiting for you 16 to get it together. Are you still here? Remember, purchase that Application PowerPack. You will be with me. You'll have access for the entire Match 2025 cycle. This isn't just for a month. This is for all the way through the match and beyond. 30-day money back guarantee, all those bonuses. Please sign up tonight and we'll get brainstorming on your list. Now's your last chance because I am just about to go to sleep. I'm really tired. It's getting late. What makes an LOO strong? So again, you have to know what's good, what needs to be included, and that would be in the template that I can provide for you. There's another place. I'm not sure if I did it or not. Go to, you guys, are you connected with me on LinkedIn? Because I have a newsletter there. Okay, I have a newsletter, and I think I talked about that in one of my newsletters. So if you go to my newsletter, copy, here you go. Make sure that you are connected with me. So I have a newsletter, so you'll see this pathway to excellence. I'm not sure. Here's one that I just wrote about poster presentations for those of you doing that in New York. There you go. Crafting your own LOR. Look at there. It's right there. I still want you to join the Application PowerPack. So read those articles. They're good. The spreadsheet is, where are we here? Okay. So you can either use the QR code or copy, put that again, your show up bonus. How many are you still here? 16? Any other questions? Okay. Sorry, maybe last question. It's okay. What do you think about using Twitter and LinkedIn in this Definitely go to LinkedIn. Okay, connect with me right away. In my networking challenge, I bring you step by step by step how to use LinkedIn for like presenting yourself, your online reputation, how you can make connections and reach out to people and start getting involved in the community. I mean, if you don't live in the community, how are you supposed to do it? Now, I'm not a fan of X, formerly known as Twitter, but I do like Instagram. But there's different ways of using them. But the bottom line is make sure that you have a really cleaned up profile before you send it out to the people. Okay, so yeah, LinkedIn, very important, very important. That's how I connected with most of you and with Project IMG was through LinkedIn. So I know a little bit about LinkedIn. That's what the networking challenge is about, how to build your profile on LinkedIn and how to reach out and start networking. So it starts in your living room, and then you go out further, and then you learn an elevator pitch, and then you meet me in the lobby of the Royalton next Friday, and we'll practice. Okay. Oh, you signed up. Yay. Good. I'm stuck with you now. I know you asked a lot of questions. So you're gonna get your money's worth for sure. Anybody else? Is that it? I still got 15 people. Look, I'm getting tired. Ask your questions. You're a question asker. I am too. I'm like that too. I'm like that too. Anybody else? Anybody else? I'm gonna stop sharing now. So tell me what you think. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop recording. Okay.